You are the ones for me to be able to speak my truth. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today. I hope this video is clear, as this morning I woke up and felt like I needed to do this. So I only have so much time, and hopefully it's not too long before I go about my busy day. So if it's out of focus, I apologize, and I hope that you can see me well enough. So I have been doing many videos with my partner, Andreas. I don't want to label myself as a channeler or a medium or anything like that, but I have information that flows through me. And I have had, throughout this process, of some fear of doubt or judgment has come, and that has been my biggest challenge. And I no longer can accept that. And today I'm speaking my truth of who I am, because I feel it's important that you should know as well. And hopefully it's not too long, and I apologize, but I'm just allowing myself to open up more. So I want to start off a little bit about, and on my website you might have read a little bit of my experience in the beginning of all this process that's taken place. But in my beginning of life as a child, I always felt like something was not fitting. Why are we here? Why am I here? A feeling of, where do I belong? And as a child, I was raised in a Catholic church. So that was very confusing for me as well, because I remember going to church at times. I remember one instant I stood out in the middle of the church. There was nobody there, and I looked up at Jesus and I said, I don't understand. This isn't you. I don't see you as this man on a cross. I see you with love and passion. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see you on a cross like this. But I could never talk to anybody. I felt that it was just okay, whatever. These are my feelings. These are my thoughts. And as I started getting a little bit older, something changed within me, and my heart started beating at an enormous rate. And as a child, you don't understand this, and the fear starts to set in, and you start to think, am I dying? And at the moment of time, this first time that started within me, I felt a disconnection from my body, like I was outside. And the minute I felt like I was outside of my body, I heard a voice that told me not to fear, that you are safe. But it was a feeling of, you need to feel this, of who you are. And slowly my heart would go back. And more of these episodes started coming on, and it was a feeling within me that I let go of this fear. And as a child, that's really hard to do, of not understanding. I was afraid to tell anyone. But it was becoming very intense. And the moment I felt my heart race, I knew that it was time for me to separate from my body once again. And I didn't want to let go of that. To feel another part on the outside of who we are. To hear that voice. I didn't want to let go of that. And I remember an instance, again, I don't remember the age I was going to sleep one night. I fell asleep, and I felt my heart race. And I died. And I went to the other side. And I remember a woman standing there, as I could not see anything. It was extremely white light. She took my hand and led me to a voice. And the voice I heard was the same voice that I had been hearing this whole time. And the voice gave me a choice, to stay or to go. And at that time, the love that I felt and the peace was extremely hard to go back into who I was. But I knew that I needed to find another part of me. that I needed to be back in this human body to experience things more until the end of my life, to experience all the emotions. And I chose to come back. And the minute I said, I want to go back, I was straight back into my body. And at that time, something changed even more dramatically within me. I felt more. I felt people. I felt their emotions. I felt things around me. And the episodes became worse. And what I was experiencing was heart attacks. Had I found this out, I was in high school at a cross-country meet. And I went down, my heart started beating very fast. And that is when it became known to everybody on the condition that I had, and I can no longer hide this episode of my heart attacks. And so I knew I had to stay within my body, or I was going to die again. So my mom took me to a cardiologist, and they diagnosed me with WPW, which you are born with an extra pathway within your heart. And some people can experience it more than others, and you can actually go into cardiac arrest. And I knew that I had to have it fixed. So I realized at that time that I had to let go, and that I know it was within me already, that I could feel this without having those episodes. And so I had my heart fixed, and the episodes never came back. And that was at the age of 18. So I suppressed all this for many years, but I know I had to go through the experiences that I had in that time. Until one day in my life, I could no longer go through what I was experiencing. And I went through a lot in my time, a lot of pain, a lot of happiness. But at this certain time in my life, I can no longer deal with the things that I was dealing with. And I said, I need to know. I got down on my knees. I need to know who I am. I need to know why I came back here. You have to help me. And at that time was my awakening. I had a dream. And in my dream, I had a vision. I was being hypnotized by a woman. And in my dream, I saw a beautiful flower forming. And it said, Jesus is the way. And I woke up and I thought to myself, I don't even follow Jesus. I'm not even Catholic anymore. I don't even know why I had this dream. But it was eating me up inside. I'm like, you have to figure this out. So I went to my massage therapist and I explained to her, and she said, you have to go see this woman. She does past life. And I know I don't want to go. I don't even believe in past lives. She says, no, just go see her. And I said, okay, I'm going to listen. And I started listening to my intuition more. And the more I did that, the more things started coming through. And I contacted her and I had my session. And I thought, wow, this is kind of expensive, but okay, I'm going to do it because I'm listening. I said, I have to listen. And I did. And I had an amazing experience. And the session that I did was a QHHT session. And in that session, I felt this overwhelming energy go through my body. But it wasn't the dream that I had. But in the session, I was told that I needed to learn how to do this technique. And after the session, I was a little bit, okay, what was that? But I listened to myself, and I still didn't understand the reason why I had the dream, but I just kind of said, okay, well, I'm going to go with it. So I did go, And I went down and I learned QHHT 1. And I said, I'm going to go down there and I'm asking for everything to come through me. I want to know who I am. I want to know answers. And in a QHHT session, when you get with, I was with three amazing people. One actually came in later, which I'm so grateful for, who got to see my session. And as I'm going, I said, I want to be the one that goes under. I had fear. And I had a wonderful QHHT practitioner do my session, Monica Dunn. She lives in White Salmon, Washington, very close to Oregon. She does sessions. She's an amazing practitioner, so if you're around the area, I would recommend her. But she did my session. And as she put me under, I saw darkness. And in that darkness, I had fear because I was afraid to know answers. But I went within myself and I said, I can no longer fear. And she helped and guided me through the session. And in the session, I became a man. And as crazy as that sounds at the time, it's like you're there and you know you're yourself, but yet you're this other person experiencing this other life. And I'm not saying that I was him. This is an experience I had. This is something that had to come to me to understand who I am today. And that was something that after my session was very confusing because I was like, there's no way I could have been who this was. But what I realized is that it doesn't matter if it was you or not. It was something that you had to experience to know who you are within you. And this man, as it started developing in the session, I started to become him. His mannerisms, his feelings of who he was, his speaking. And I don't know if this is what you call a somnambulistic state. I don't even really understand what that is. But I know I was this man. And I was entering into a village at nighttime. And the first thing I said is, where is he? And Monica was like, who? And the more I got within myself and she helped me guide of who I was, I could feel him. I could see his hair. I could see what he was wearing. I realized at that time, from a distance, not even seeing him perfectly, was a man of pure love. And the moment I started walking towards him, as if I could not see who he was, but I knew who he was. And she said, who is he? And I remember going through that now as I had to listen to the session several times as I forgot things. And it was very hard for me to listen to it again because it was hard for me to believe. And as I got to this man, I realized it's Jesus. He's here. And you are his follower. And your mind is going back and forth and I'm in with the joyful happiness of I'm here again. This is my home. And he came up to me and he gave me a hug. And the feeling of this love and passion is something that you cannot experience on earth. It was the same feeling that I felt as if when I had went to the other side. And the joy and the happiness brought tears to my eyes as you could hear this man cry. And in this lifetime, you saw him as Jesus, not as a man on a cross, as a man telling you through his words, you are me and I am you, and I'm going to show you the way because you are my follower, and you are going to speak through my mouth. You are going to be my follower, and I'm going to tell you who you are and who everyone is because you are me and I am you, and I'm going to show you the way. And that's what he did in this lifetime. He showed me meditation, the way he meditated with other men. And it was not like this. It was more of a meditation with your legs crossed. And the way this man was trying to explain this in the session was very hard because he was trying to explain it in a way that he knew, but not as we know as of it today. And so that was my experience. And I saw the life of Jesus and as a follower through this lifetime and what it felt like. And the ridicule and the criticism and the judgment that I stood by him and I saw. And that he was a man of his truth. He could have not spoke his truth. He could have stood there and said, oh, I can heal. You see me heal these people? Follow me. But he spoke his truth and he told people where he was from, who he was. And they thought he was crazy. But he believed in who he was and he spoke his truth. And I saw that. So that was my first QHHT session. And as I got out of my session, I felt different. And I peed like crazy. I've never peed so much in my life after that session, and finding out that's a release that we go through sometimes when we go through our sessions, and it went and it came and it came and it came, and I just thought, oh my goodness. And the 4 people that were in my sessions, I don't know what was going through them, but I at the time I was still kind of in a zone. I was a little tired, but looking at them, I was a little confused. And so the day went on, and the morning came, I think it was that next morning, and we had to talk about our experiences. And I was still confused as to who I was and to believe that. And it's not who I was, it's just the experience I had and what I felt. And as an empath, I believe we all have these abilities, but some have more than others. And maybe mine was from the hard experiences that I had and coming back, and we had to go up on stage in front of people and talk about our experience. And I said, I'm not going up there because who's going to believe this? They're going to think I'm crazy. And so the gal said, it's okay, we'll speak for you. It's okay. And I heard a voice within me saying, you have to go up there and face this. And you don't have to talk. Just go up there. Be with them. Give them your support. And so that's what I did. And I really didn't speak much because I was kind of in shock as I stood there. And I looked out in front of everyone thinking they're judging me. I can't speak. And they spoke for me and talked about the experience. And from there on, I went home. And the minute I went home, my life changed. Oh, my life changed. And I questioned things, but I changed. My beliefs changed. I still had some doubt, but I was becoming who I was. And at that moment, I realized there was a reason why I had to have that dream. The reason why I had to be in the life I was at that time. But I knew there was more. I had a feeling within me that I had something within me. I came back for another part of who I am. And I had to spread the word somehow, but I didn't know how to do that. Because if you think of it within yourself as the word psychic or medium or channeler, there is a fear that comes through you, especially be raised in a religion. This is not right. But I knew that this is who I am. And I know I needed to know more. So I knew there was a QHHT level 2 coming, and I said, I'm going down there. I have to go down there. And I don't know why, but I have to learn more. And so the last minute, the gal that was supposed to go with me to learn QHHT backed out at the last minute. She had other things to do. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to go by myself. But I had a client that I have another business, and I asked if she wanted to come, and she came with me, who's no longer with us today. And that's another story I have in one of my videos that I explain about her. But she was also a part of my life in this experience that I had went through. and she brought me to another learning hypnosis, which is called introspective. And this goes in a deeper form of hypnosis that I will explain in other videos, and you might have heard as well. And it's because of her that brought me to that. And that's another story. But as I went down there, I again said, I will experience anything that is possible, and I am going to let anything come through me. And in this session, again, this is where it became extremely fearful and doubtful within me again, as I was experiencing something that in my belief system that I did not believe, but it came to me. And that's how, as who I know, as who I am today, even more so. And Monica was there, and another practitioner, Andreas, was there, who I did not know in QHHT when I saw him. But at the time, we did not know each other because I had to experience what I had to experience, and he too as well. And there were still things that were coming through me that I had to go through. So we got together as a team, and I agreed to be, again, the client. And I said, okay, bring forth to me what I need to know in every way possible. And through this experience that I had, and this next session was an amazing experience, even more so as the first one that I had. Had this one came to me in QHHT Level 1, I believe the mind works in certain ways. The spirit knows, but the mind can only know so much. So when you go through these sessions, the mind can only relate to certain things if it is not in the belief system or the learning that you have. But as Dolores says, we are fed like babies, and little parts will come to you. You cannot be fed human food in the beginning. So this QHHT Level 2 session I had was amazing. And in this session, I realized another part within me and who we are. That we are not just human beings, but we are a mix of several other types of beings or energies within us. And I go through this in the event that we just had. We posted on YouTube, Andres and I, on what the event may be and what I feel that comes to me and what talks through me. And what Earth is, the center of everything. And going through this session, so I keep on going, I'm sorry, I'm kind of going here and there, but as Andres put me down into this session, I felt another part of who I was as a child in the beginning of life. And in this session, I felt many parts within me of non-human, of telepathic, and how we can communicate through our minds, of other life forms around me. And in the session, as a child, I was brought to where I was. And I'm not going to go into it because it was very long. And I saw another part of me who I was mirroring me. And it was a little boy. And he was me and I was him. And we talked telepathically through our minds. And I felt myself within him, and he felt me. And at the time, as I was feeling this, he asked who that was. And again, the doubt comes through your mind, and you're thinking that can't possibly be him. But it was. It was the man that was telling me my session or guiding me through as a practitioner. It was what I felt as a child looking out the window, and I saw this, another part of myself mirroring back at me. And I did not know it at the time, but this other part was my twin. I did not know what that was until after this has been created. And so I went through that session, and after I got out of that session, I could not look at him, because the moment I looked at him, I saw myself, a reflection of who I was, everything, all lifetimes, every part of me. And these were not just my lifetimes, these were his. And I thought I was going crazy. Because at that time when this happened after my session, I had to go back to my life, and he did as well. There was confusion, there was fear. But a part of me was within me and said, do not fear, for I am to show you who you are, and you are to show the people. And I felt like it was crazy. But I went within myself and I said, I can no longer doubt this. I have to go. And there's no such thing as a coincidence. Go within yourself. Remember who you are. Remember the time when you were disconnected from your body. This voice kept on coming through me. But the doubt and the fear came. And it came. And now I understand where that's coming from. And we talk about this in our videos. I also have the 7 steps of spiritual awakening that I urge you to go watch as well. And so fast forward now, and knowing all this of who I am. And now I am with my twin, and we are doing our work together. But there has been fear again within me that I fear standing there, and I do sessions, and he guides me through these of judgment. Oh my gosh, who are they going to think of me? What am I going to think? And so recently, I have traveled to Switzerland with Andres, my partner, and my twin. And I had an amazing experience there. And in this, we've done a few sessions when I was in Switzerland, and back at home or wherever we're at, we get together and we do these sessions, and he puts me under. He asks me questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask me, and I just allow whatever is to come through, or whatever is I feel or vision or see. And he had a great friend of him that said, hey, you need to come with me the next day and do this Wim Hof technique, where you're doing this breathing technique and you're going into this ice cold water. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to do that. But Andres is like, okay, I'll go. And I'm like, I'll go and watch. So we did in the morning, we did this. And so I went with him, and there was a group of amazing people that we met, including his good friend and wife, who I was very thankful for meeting. And I saw them go into the water. And I watched, and I heard a voice say, you have to do this. And I'm like, I'm not going in that water. It's cold. And I didn't even bring my swimsuit. But the voice kept on telling me, you have to do this. And I said, okay. So I told Andres, you know what, I think I want to do this. He says, okay, great, Grace, but I don't have my swimsuit. Well, go in your underwear and bra. No, I'm not going. And then I said, nope, I'm going in my underwear and bra. So he said, nobody's going to care. And I'm like, I don't care. So I did. And the moment he walked me to the water, I knew at the time I had fear. I saw this lake of freezing ice and water and just this little hole there. And I walked in the water like I was walking in bath water. And I sat in the water, and I felt it. I felt the cold. I felt everything within me. But all of a sudden, I felt disconnected from my body. The same disconnection I had as when I was a child. I can no longer feel me, but I felt an outside of me, like I was standing on the outside, and I heard a voice. And in that voice, it said, listen to what I have to say. Do not fear and doubt me. And the moment I started hearing that voice, I looked up at the mountain. There was a mountain in front of me, and it became more clear. And then I heard someone in the water, which was the man in charge of our group who's been doing this. He was kind of like an instructor. And I heard him say, that's it. Look at the mountain. Pay attention to the mountain. As if the voice was talking through him. And I listened to this voice, and it said, do not fear, for you know who you are, and you know why you're here. Do your job. Go out there. Speak your truth. You're going to speak your truth, and you're going to do this, and you will not be judged. And if you are judged, you will not fear, because the judge is within them and not you. You are a follower, and you are a speaker, and you are going to speak your truth. And I was outside of my body, the same part I felt as if when I was a child, and as if I went to the other side when I was more of a teenager. And then I heard Andreas saying, okay, it's time to come out now. You know, you're kind of new at this, but I wanted to stay there. I wanted to experience, and I wanted to hear more. But I knew that my body can no longer take that. My mind was there. My spirit was there. My mind came through and said, you have to get out. And the moment I heard Andreas say, it's time for you to leave, to come, that I knew the voice said, go with him. You go and do your work together, and you both speak your truth and what you need to tell the people. And it is up to them on what they believe and what they want to judge. Go now. And so I heard his voice more, and I disconnected, and I went with him. And as I got out of the water, it was amazing. The love and the passion and the people yelling and saying, yeah, you did it. And I felt another part of me. And as I'm talking right now, I feel that within me. That peace and that calmness. And that I am here today to speak my truth. And I will be judged. And that's okay. And I want those people who are judging me to judge and to have your own experience and to think what you want. And I want to thank you because you are my catalyst to who I am today. You are the ones for me to be able to speak my truth. And I want you to take this and take it with whatever you feel and believe. And what is to come will be coming more and more through our sessions, as they have already. As Andres and I go through this, there will be things that you will feel within you or you will doubt. And that is your reality. But this is the word that comes through me, and I will not allow the fear to come anymore. I will speak my truth, and this is who I am. This is my truth. And I'm here today to speak that. Thank you for listening to me.